there have been a lot of people that have said the Big Ten, man, they did a lot better in this TV deal there, and they're going to dominate with that Big Ten show and all that good stuff. And ESPN just signed the SEC, and the SEC should have gotten more and diversified and all this good stuff. And I just sat back the whole time and I said to myself, if the SEC is on a regular schedule, noon, 3:30, 8. It's one of my gripes about college football that you have to check and see what time they're on. You do it just like the NFL, regular schedule. ESPN's the place to go starting at 8 o'clock in the morning with College Game Day, or 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And you keep it on there all day and you watch the best football in the nation. That's the way to go. Other people said the Big Ten went to CBS and they went to the Big Ten Network, and they did all these things to get on different networks. And suddenly you're changing channels and you're flipping all over the place. I thought ESPN and the SEC had a better plan than the Big Ten, and I may be right. Not that I would crow, Caleb, but what have we learned about the Big Ten TV deal, and did they perhaps rush into things a little bit?
Yeah, I'm the one eating crow because I'm like, how could the Big Ten get a deal worth twice as much as the SEC when the Big Ten brand is still not as good as the SEC's, even with USC and UCLA? So it's kind of explained now. It sounds like Kevin Warren rushed into some TV deals without actually addressing already embedded contracts. I'm just going to give a few of these. One is no one's fault. There's 3 issues right now with the Big Ten. One, the league owes $25 million to Fox, still because of all the games lost due to COVID. There, nobody's fault. But we have to give Greg Sankey credit for the way he handled it. Let's be honest, Greg Sankey handled COVID better than any commissioner in college football. The SEC played a full schedule that year, 10-game schedule, and they got their money on TV revenue for it. And that was smart. The other one, when Kevin Warren negotiated with all these different contracts, one of the things he delivered was the Big Ten title game will be on NBC in 2026. Here's the problem. He didn't have the authority to do that because the Big Ten network controls the programming rights for the Big Ten, including the title game, and that's majority owned by Fox at least until 2029. So unless they get something squared away, it's going to cost the conference $40 million to resolve that issue. Now, here's the big one. I had never thought about this, Dave. I didn't know if you knew this, but the Big Ten teams in the North don't like playing night games in November. And I never thought about it. I'm like, okay, it gets cold for player safety. They don't like night games. They prefer the new games. So
soft.
The Big Ten signed this deal with NBC their goal was this. They wanted games to be from noon Eastern time all the way through midnight Pacific time. They wanted games on the entire time. Part of that was trying to get some Eastern time, Central time games on NBC at night. Well, this violates some of the contracts the schools sign with the Big Ten, where they don't have to play night games past the first week in November. And apparently
they're soft.
Well, to be fair, we can't say that as SEC people because SEC doesn't play in the cold ever. So, I mean, we don't know how the SEC
I can say that. I've been places for a noon start that were 108 degrees with the heat index and humidity. So don't tell me in an open press box, don't tell me I haven't been uncomfortable. And that, by the way, can be dangerous to a player's health, Caleb.
Oh, I don't think that should be allowed either. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that's
okay, but yeah, we got to play the football set sometime, okay? Yeah. So, yeah, soft.
Here's the issue. Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State are all trying to back up playing night games in November, and they might actually win out. Now, what's the Big Ten going to do if NBC paid all this money? I don't think NBC paid all this money to have Maryland and Iowa play on their primetime slot game.
No, they did not. Listen, I've said this from the get. Business is somewhat just common sense, Caleb. I mean, going out and getting Southern California and UCLA that are in some cases 3 time zones away is just stupid. I understand that you get the LA market, but you're not going to, for television rights, but you're not going to grow the Big Ten into LA. They don't even know when football season's held. I have to do business out there every once in a while. They don't even know when the season is half the time. So it's not like you're going to grow a Big Ten market in LA. So I had no faith in this television agreement, and I thought that it would have major potholes along the way. We're seeing that. So go ahead when you put the thumbnail together for this video, just say, is the Big Ten stupid or soft? There you go. That's your thumbnail, Caleb, because that's your headline. Because this is, how do you not know these things going in? And why do you think you can grow your brand into LA? Just the whole thing is dumb.
Well, I think the Big Ten, it wasn't the question was, the Big Ten's bet was not whether or not they're stupid or soft. They knew rightly that advertisers and networks are still stupid. Okay, so NBC is stupid. CBS is stupid. Fox is stupid. They paid for the Big Ten based on the markets that the Big Ten are in. So who's dumb on that point? Is the Big Ten dumb, or are they just fleecing the fact that the networks are dumb?
I don't know, but it's not.
The Big Ten is smart at that point.
Yeah, but it's not a great way to start a business relationship when you go into it and like, oops, I owe these other people millions of dollars, and oops, you can't provide what I wanted you to provide because of my own stupid rules. So to me, the Big Ten is just,
well, their business model.
What was the AAC thing that you brought up about academics?
Oh, their schools have to be AAU member schools, because the Big Ten it's part of the requirements to get in the Big Ten. It's actually technically a research collection of schools too. So they do collaborative research projects and things like that. So you have to be an AAU affiliated school. They are going to make let's be honest, that's not going to last, because Notre Dame's not an AAU school. I guarantee you, if Notre Dame is available, the Big Ten would take them tomorrow. That's an open invitation.
Okay, but my point is, they're smarter people. I get really bothered by the fact that there are some Big Ten people that think that they are just a smarter conference than the SEC. And it goes back to years ago. It goes back to years ago when you looked at the SEC, the South, as being dumb. That the South is dumb. You're dumb people because you're in the South. No, there are smarter people running the SEC than the Big Ten. There are as many smart people in the South than there is the Northwest. That to me just infuriates me. I had somebody one time say to me, he was a big Michigan State fan. And I said, well, you guys really should watch. I was a smart aleck. And I said, you guys should really watch SEC football because it's way better. Because we were watching a Big Ten game. I said, I feel like this is in slow motion. Like you've dialed down the speed. And he goes, well, higher academics in the Big Ten. To heck, there is not.
Well, also the football programs, it ain't like there's rocket scientists on Michigan State.
Thank you. If Michigan wants a kid that is a 5-star guy, they're going to find a way to get the kid in. I mean, that was so, it just, you talk about one of my pet peeves. You touched on it, and I saw it. Well, we talked about it during our a pre-show at about 5 a.m. We have it every morning. And I thought to myself, this reminds me of that dude from Michigan State that made me so angry. The South is full of smart people.
Now, to be fair, Notre Dame does get to claim that because they don't change their standards for the athletes.
And so does Vanderbilt. And so does Northwestern.
You're right. Those three.
But as a whole, to broad brush the thing is idiotic.
Oh, I agree. Well, that's the thing. The AAU thing, that's just I don't think it's a required. Big Ten doesn't have academic standards for the football players, but it's because it's also like the SEC is a sports conference, whereas the Big Ten is a sports conference plus a research collaborative conference. So like the school, so that's why they do that. But yeah, what's throwing me off here is what I think happened with USC and UCLA, and I think I know this. I think one of the reasons UCLA and USC made that move is the Big Ten thought that they were going to add it, had basically led them to believe they were going to add in Oregon and Washington and Stanford to have better travel. Well, sounds like the Big Ten did some research on their own and decided they're not going to get their return by expanding into the Pacific Northwest. At that point, there's
you.
and so now, that's why they're looking at the ACC now, at which what USC and UCLA are really unhappy because they're going to have
SoCal
everywhere.
Or SoCal. They're not going to turn that into a Big Ten town. People in LA are not going to say, "What am I going to do today? I wanted to surf. I maybe wanted to go to a Dodgers game. I maybe wanted to, go hiking. I maybe wanted to go see a movie or go to downtown LA and tour the Spielberg Museum. Or, I know what I want to do. I want to watch Purdue Rutgers." That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, when me, a college football
fan, would rather surf than watch Purdue Rutgers.
Yes. I mean, when that was reported, I actually thought to myself the first time I saw UCLA and USC going to the Big Ten, I thought to myself it may be a joke. I am not kidding.
Well, again, the move with that was to fleece the networks because the networks were going to be stupid to pay for that. Now, what they realized is the networks weren't going to be stupid enough to pay. I mean, the networks, like NBC, is now going to think, "Oh my God, Seattle's in this market now. Let me pay another $1 billion." They were stupid enough to do that for the LA market. They were dumb enough to do that for the LA market. They're not doing that for the Eugene, Oregon, or the Seattle, Washington markets.